Yo, this is how I made just under $1,000 day trading the Nasdaq and S&P 500 this morning. Oh, my bad. Um, yeah, let's get into it. This is my trade recap. It is September 2nd. It's a Tuesday. It's the Tuesday right after Labor Day. I wasn't expecting something huge. However, we were getting really big displacement on London. I'll go over that though. First off, news, there was absolutely nothing. We had PMI at 10, but it really wasn't doing anything to the markets. So, to start with our bias for today, um, obviously the first thing I do is mark out Asia session and London session, and on the 15-minute time frame, and just see what happened. So we clearly, I can actually hide these drawings. So we clearly had Asia was accumulating. We had late Asia slash early London, a little bit of a distribution before we pushed even farther, coming into New York pre-market um, right around 9 a.m. We started consolidating again. And when you see like Asia accumulate, London start to distribute, and then we see accumulation, it usually means we're going to continue that trend in New York session. And so if right here was where New York was opening, it would have been easy, obvious shorts target, these lows down here, which we ended up sweeping. But since those lows got taken out, all these here, I can just look at one screen for now. All of these lows ended up getting swept in pre-market. So it got swept by 9 a.m. And so when that happened, that's when my bias shifted from shorts to longs. And that's when I knew that I wanted to go for longs for a little bit of a retracement. If not, I had runners that were targeted to go all the way to Asia London highs. I wasn't expecting that. I was more expecting um, this hourly liquidity to get swept and this hourly fair value gap to get touched. That was my final full, not full take profit, but that was my final take profit before I just left runners. And as you can see, we never hit that. We came and filled this hourly fair value gap, and unfortunately, I didn't take any partials there. This would have been a lot bigger of a day if we had gotten here. It would have been around just under. It would have been in between 2.5k to 3k range if we had hit this hourly. But I'll go over that. So yeah, I mean, accumulated, distributed, and then continued. And once we hit that continuation, the only draw left was these 2-hour equal lows. I do think that we're going to hit this hourly liquidity over here later in the week, and then we'll start to make our move up, and we can chase after all this low resistance liquidity up here. But that'll happen later on. So going into the 5-minute, yeah, I'm looking for longs. Even though we broke 5-minute structure at 9:10, I wanted to see. You always want to see a manipulation leg when you're looking for a reversal on the lower time frame. So if we're looking for a continuation, we don't necessarily need a 5-minute manipulation leg. But when we're looking for a reversal, you definitely need a 5-minute manipulation leg. So today was patience, right? Market opens. Exactly what I wanted to happen happened, except for could have been one more thing that would have made me a lot more confident in my bias. But it was a patience game today. So I wanted to see these equal lows get swept, and we came down. Market opened. This was the manipulation leg to take these out. As you can see, it happened fairly quickly. 1 minute in the market open, we came and swept these hourly lows. So all those are gone. Delete that. That was another hourly draw. But I wanted to see these get hit, which would have been my shorts, which would have been my take profit for my shorts. But that was when we were bouncing around, if we hadn't come all the way down. So once that happened, now you just want to see a 5-minute break in structure to reverse order flow. Clearly, this 5-minute fair value gap would have been nice. And we got that and this break. So on ES, that it took us a little bit longer to do that. We didn't break until 9:45. But since we had already broken structure here, I was confident that we were going to push higher. I have a really big stop too, just in case, but We had filled this hourly fair value gap on ES. I wanted to see. I was talking to myself before this happened when we took out NQ's lows. I was telling myself I really want to see us break 5-minute structure back down to the downside, sweep these lows, and then break structure again to the upside. And I wanted to create an SMT off of that. If we could have gotten a bullish SMT from these lows to these lows, and if this had been a low and a higher low, that would have been ideal A plus setup, and it would have made me a lot more comfortable. So since that didn't happen, I stayed on the 5-minute time frame. I waited for this 5-minute to close. I was still willing to scale down afterwards if we hadn't broken 5-minute structure and we had just invalidated this fair value gap, but that didn't happen. We ended up doing both, which is even better. But I was honestly so confident that we were going long today that I honestly wanted us to not fully break 5-minute structure up here, because that fair value gap would have been enough for me. But yeah, so once that happened, just waiting for a 1-minute retrace back down to a confluence. We hit this order block, tapped into this order block, 5-minute order block. We see bullish pressure out of it. I entered, and then on ES, the reason why I took this trade on NASDAQ was because we broke the 5-minute structure, and ES just wasn't moving as cleanly. It was consolidating more. It was taking longer. It wasn't moving as well. So I took it on NASDAQ. I had my first partial at these 15-minute highs, and then my second partial was right after it at the bottom of this hourly fair value gap. And then the next one was here. That would have been my full take profit with some runners to London and Asia highs. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to get up to here, though, honestly. I did think that we were going to be able to hit this low resistance liquidity, hourly liquidity, before we continued our sweep down. But unfortunately, we just swept here. I should have, honestly, one thing I did wrong, I should have taken a contract off at the equilibrium of this fair value gap. It would have been a fair take profit, and it would have given me probably a couple extra $100 on the day, but it is what it is. And if you're wondering how I'm saying that I made 1,000, and you can see right here that I made 469. As you can see, I have two accounts. One's a Combine, but one's another Express. The other Express is the exact same. But anyway, so it's double. Yeah, all of my P&L is double what one account says. Anyway, so yeah, the only other thing is that we had low resistance liquidity up here on these 5 minutes. I thought about taking another partial if we had gotten up to here on ES, and that would have been like a main range where all this 5-minute liquidity is being formed, which is another reason why I didn't take a partial here. And I was hoping that NASDAQ was going to hit these highs around the same time that ES was going to take this out, and that's when we would have seen our reversal. It just came quicker than I expected. ES didn't even get to take out, it didn't even get to take out the lowest high on this low resistance liquidity. It happens. So saw a reversal. I had a trailing stop right here underneath this 5-minute fair value gap. This 5-minute fair value gap, so I put it underneath that candle. Got wicked out right here around 10:15ish. See right here, it was at 10:15. So got stopped there for a couple extra $100 on the day. But I was floating in like $800 up here after I'd already secured about 300. It would have been a good day if we had hit full TP, and it is what it is. We reversed. I think that we're going to continue for the week. I'm pretty bearish on the week. Sorry. We did sweep these equal lows. However, I don't think that's enough for us. I think that we're going to want to come take out at least this draw in liquidity, and most likely these down here. But we'll see. I mean, we could reverse off of these, but I think that ES is also going to want to take out some of these lows down here. We're going to need to take out these equal lows at least. There's near equal lows at least on ES before we get a full reversal for the week. But besides that, I mean, yeah, these daily lows are looking attractive, and that's probably what we'll end up hitting pretty soon. And then from there, hopefully when we're hitting those equal lows on ES, we'll be sweeping some of the liquidity down here on NASDAQ, and we can start moving back up. Yeah, it's the market's been looking really good, and it is in a little bit. Some people are saying it's inflated, but honestly, these companies are doing really, really well. These some great companies are doing really well. So, although a lot is very expensive right now, a lot of stocks are expensive right now. I think it's fair if you look at their, Palantir's price earnings ratio is like 500, which is pretty ridiculous. But if you see what they're doing and the amount of earnings that they're bringing in, it's kind of fair. It's kind of fair. So personally, buying some of these dips, taking all of this profit, and I do a 50-50 split into two different portfolios, one for midterm and one for long term with these profits. And yeah, it's depending on the week. Now that these large caps have had their run, I've been definitely doing 50% splits on these payouts, and getting into some small caps too. So yeah, but that's today. Obviously did not hit full take profit, unfortunately, but we'll see about tomorrow. It's a good week so far. We're definitely up on the week. Total P&L is 1,571 for the month. So yeah, it's looking good start to the month. Whoops. And I'm excited to see what else we can do. Yeah. Thank you guys. Peace out.